So it's Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Gonna try and complete this Network Plus course here today. Got a couple hours I gotta go through and get this done. I've got the IP addressing to go through, and I've got not too much. Finish up this, network services, wide area networks, wireless networks, cloud and the data center. I'm looking forward to getting into that one. And that should cover me for the completing this course today. And then I'll hold off on doing, there's exams at the end of each chapter. As you can see here, there's a quiz at the end of each, and then at the very end there is a practice exam conclusion and stuff like that that it goes through and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try and finish that up today. I'm going to try to get in some reading today in the study guide here, going through the first 13 chapters to cover up what I got to go through on that. And then basically just do a lot of review and stuff to go through. You got to keep going over. A lot of this cabling stuff is obsolete. Some of it doesn't exist anymore, but you still got to know it for the exam. The biggest thing with the cabling is the distance on how far to run this stuff, and what cable can go far, and that kind of thing. And the other thing is the color scheme for how you match them up for the connectors, RJ45 connectors and stuff, for the, whether it be crossover pair, twisted pair, such like that, with the color code, brown, white, orange, green, blue, white, and stuff like that. And it's all got to be configured right into there when you put it into patch panels or when you put it into your connectors on both ends. But this just goes through here, just some reading go through. I won't get through it all today, but I'm going to try and focus this whole weekend just on this kind of stuff here and get this done with all this. Just give you a quick view on what's in here. Now this is the big stuff here. This IP addressing, the subnetting stuff, and all that kind of thing. The thing with this stuff here is when I'm going to be taking a CCNA course too, and that'll get me into specific routing and that kind of thing for Cisco through their packet tracer, setting up, configuring routers, switches, and stuff like that, setting up actual networks and stuff like that, and getting hands-on with that. This stuff and that will really help with all that. But this is what all this is for: IP routing protocols and stuff like that, routing virtual LANs, VLANs and stuff, wireless networks, and just go through here all the standards and stuff like that. It seems like a lot, but once you get through it, once you go over it a couple times, eventually it'll sink in. Once you start doing it, that's why I'm going to start doing the CCNA stuff, to get a hands-on and understand how these networks are set up and how they run, and do configuration and really get to see what these configurations look like, how to configure it, what happens if you configure this wrong, and that kind of thing, and just mess with that and play with it and have some fun with it. Now, over here is another good source for network stuff that this guy does. He does a lot of the great labs, and this is more just lab stuff. The big thing for this is you can read this stuff, you can go through it, but unless you see it, like I said, packet tracer is a big one. Nmap is another one. Wireshark is huge. Those are the three big ones really to know. Depending on if you get into whatever you're going to get into or anything like that, these are the big ones for network stuff. Is the Wireshark, this kind of stuff here, Cisco packet tracer, and the Nmap. And this kind of stuff goes through here, and he breaks it down real good on all that and how to do all this. So let's just scroll down here and see what we got going on here with this. All this kind of stuff, VLANs and stuff, ARP. This gets into all this. These are all routing protocols on how to set things up. You know, everything is about configuration with this stuff, how your network runs, and everything like that. They have a thing that they call the 5 nines, and it's 99.999% of uptime that is required, which I'm told the understanding for it is you're only allowed 5 minutes a year to be down at all. So when your network is down, and you see a lot on the news that the networks are down, you know, there's a lot of things that goes on for this, but this stuff here shows you a lot of what here's Wireshark here, and more about Wireshark and Packet Tracer, as you can see, the Packet Tracer stuff, Wireshark stuff. He does Nmap and other stuff here, but this is more for Network Plus Labs. So this covers a lot, and go through all this kind of stuff today. Next weekend, I'll be going through the full CCNA stuff and really get hands-on with this Packet Tracer stuff. And that's the biggest thing with this, is to show, my understanding is resumes are dead, and what you really need to do is show people, if you want to get in on IT, if you want to get into cybersecurity and stuff like that, a lot of the talk that I follow online and talk to people that are in the industry and stuff like that. I'm not yet in the industry yet, and I'm trying to get into it, but this is the stuff that you got to post. This is the stuff that you got to share to do this kind of stuff. Show that you're building a home lab or doing, there's other stuff too. If you want to get in the help desk, the help desk thing is, learning Active Directory and setting up that kind of stuff, how to set up Active Directory, how to troubleshoot it, how to run it, and how to do that kind of thing. Any kind of thing that you could think of that if you'd get a call from a customer from a office or something like that, and go from there. But this is the big stuff that's for here. This is one of the good courses here for this kind of thing, and go through all this kind of stuff here. But you got to put the time in when you can. It depends on how bad you want this kind of stuff, and go from there. It's a lot to comprehend. The other big thing too is to go through practice exams, practice questions and stuff like that until you get it, and focus on a little bit at a time to understand what's going on with that stuff. And the big thing too is to see a lot of visuals. What does it look like with these? Another thing too is command prompt commands. Certain commands that you have to know, where screens will pop up and say, okay, well, what's going on here, or drag and drop stuff. You have to see the visual stuff. Don't just read the theory of it and understand, okay, well, this is what this does. You have to see it being done, because a lot of that will come up on the exam. I hope to be taking the exam soon, my first one. So I'm not going to rush into that. It's 90 questions, but you got to be pretty damn prepared for that kind of thing. But these are the big things that you really got to know. If you can get a good understanding of Packet Tracer, good understanding of Nmap, and get a good understanding of command prompt and Wireshark. Not so much Wireshark for the CompTIA thing. Maybe a little bit of the Packet Tracer stuff, but this will help you along the way anyway with Network Plus in general. But you got to put the time in for it. You got to find time. So that's why I'm going to spend this weekend just going over this stuff, getting it all soaked in, and go from there.